I never considered looking at my work as if it was a play. Always I would take it too serious. As somebody that likes to think a lot about life itself, the trap can be that your thoughts make you consider life in such a serious tone that you forget to actually enjoy the journey. And Alan Watts really talked about this point, that the real secret of life is to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it is a play. So let's learn together how we can actually turn our objectives into a play, into something that is much less stressful, and therefore it becomes much more meaningful. I think if we really go over any aspects of our lives, we're going to find that we take it way too serious at times. And taking your goals serious is one thing, because you do want to realize them, but taking it to a point where it causes stress and unnecessary frustration, I think then we really have to learn to take a step back. We have to understand that life is not supposed to be a struggle, but a fun journey. And the way to make it the most fun is, of course, if we are living in a way that is most meaningful and pleasurable to us. That's why you have those dreams. That's why you have these desires of wanting to achieve something that is beyond your current reality. But the trap here is that we take it so serious. We might focus on it so much from an angle that is causing us to be frustrated due to how things are, that we forget to enjoy the journey towards its manifestation of better things. This was said by Wallace Wallace in one of his books as well, that gratitude was the only way to make sure that you stay in a positive frame of mind, even if your circumstances are now not the way you would like them to be. Because that is what growing and outgrowing is all about. You start with whatever you've got, even though it might not be where you want to stay forever. But the trick here is not to become frustrated by it. And if we then take Alan Watts' description of seeing work not as work where you have to toil and sweat and do something like crazy, but you start looking at it like it's a play, that the elements of what you're facing, good and bad, are all part of this wonderful play that is part of your life. You realize that there is much more joy to be found in any mundane activity and any big activity that you're inspired to do. Sometimes you have to go beyond your comfort zone. You get nervous, a little scared perhaps. But again, if you are able to see it as part of the play, you realize the fear. It is part of the journey in a way, and it's not meant to hold you back or stop you from taking action. It's meant to indicate to you that you're in a process of growth and expansion, that you're actually evolving as a person. You're learning to do new things. But I do want you to remember that the fear shouldn't be in a way detrimental to you. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are certain activities in life that you may hear from other people. They suggest do this or that, and then you try to do it, but you feel so uncomfortable doing it. This may very well be a sign that you're not meant to do it at all. Even though these coaches might say, keep pushing, keep going, it's your comfort zone, it's holding you back, just keep doing it. It heavily depends, to be really honest. I've had coaches tell me that I should keep going, even though I felt nervous about something, but on reflection I realized they wanted me to do stuff that I didn't feel was in harmony with who I really was as a person at a soul level. So even though they would be successful with something, they would say, you have to do the same thing. And then I tried and I didn't feel good about it, and then I quit. Eventually I gave up on that, because on reflection again I realized it wasn't meant for me. I wasn't meant to do this with my life. I was meant to do something totally else. I was meant to be a creator, to create things in my own way. And if you reach that point where you yourself learn to create your own things, to literally be your own boss based on what you desire to do and how you want to do it, that's the best position to be at. Because if you are constantly listening to coaches that are telling you to step out of your comfort zone, to do stuff that you don't feel comfortable about, you better make sure that the very thing that you are doing is something you truly want, is something you know is in harmony with you at a soul level. How do you figure that out? Well, it does take some time. You don't usually figure that out overnight. But you can figure it out by being very honest with yourself and what you truly desire to do. It doesn't matter if somebody else is more successful than you. Don't let them dangle that carrot in front of your face showing you how wealthy they are, and then you feel like you have to become as wealthy as them, because that's not true. You could potentially be even wealthier than them. You have to remember this. But again, that doesn't mean that it will happen. What you do have to understand is that these people, well, whoever they are, whatever they're doing, are apparently doing something that they are passionate about doing, and that is the main teaching. That is the main point you should never lose track of in life. Because the more passionate you're about something, the more it can feel like an actual play and not like work. It starts feeling like work when you know you're trying to do something that is against who you are. But that's the tricky paradox about the comfort zone, because it in a way does tell you that you're doing something that you're not used to doing. It kind of makes you uncomfortable, and so you rather hold back. The trick here is to understand, is the very thing that I'm going for something that is in harmony with my soul, with what I stand for, with my ethics, with what I want to leave behind to the world? Is this causing me to do something that if I were to die right now, am I leaving something behind to this world that is of value, that I felt like was meaningful, that could be meaningful to others? If the answer to it is yes, then break through your own comfort zone if you have to. But the beautiful part is that the comfort zone doesn't really hold you back then either. If you work with the right goals, your comfort zone automatically shifts around, and it's going to be very gentle with you. It's going to be a gentle process of growth and expansion. You're going to feel compelled to take certain actions, and perhaps on reflection again you realize they were things you've never done before, and then you realize after that, wait, I actually expanded my comfort zone. I've been doing stuff that I wasn't used to doing at all, but here I am doing them as if it's the most normal thing in the world. You know why that is? It's because you became in harmony with your own dream, and that's the most important part. Now, being in harmony with your own dream, I think that is what everyone is after, because no matter what the dream is, as long as you're not in harmony with it, you can't really take action on any dream. So the real secret of life being to be completely engaged with what you're doing in the here and now, and instead of calling it work, and instead see it as a play or realize it is a play, is one of a next level way of thinking. You really have to perceive this one on a deep spiritual level, because life is temporary, nothing is permanent. Anything physical that you're experiencing right now is temporary. Your entire physical existence is temporary. Therefore, why not see it as a play? Because since it's like, again, it sounds kind of weird perhaps, but if you take the idea of a video game, that's what life is to a certain extent. You play only for a little while here on planet Earth. Why fill that with all this stress and worry and needing to achieve so much to outshine others perhaps? What is the point of that? Instead of outshining others, you want to let your soul shine outwardly from you into the world. That means that you're no longer focused on being better than others. You're simply focused on expressing who you really are. And the more you think about this attitude, the more life can become like a play again. A play where you take a starring role. You're the star of your own life, of your own movie, so to speak. That is really useful. I think that's what we want to understand. Where do people get stuck many times is that they start to compare themselves too much with other people's results. They see them being successful, and then they reflect that back on their current success themselves, and they might feel like they are better off than me. But you see, this is a fallacy. This is really dumb. This is really stupid. It's a waste of time. You gotta be honest with yourself. I'm only temporary. I don't know how long I have left, so I better make these days that I do have left. Hopefully there's many of them, but you never know. I better make sure that they were worth something. And how do they become worth something? If you are simply acting on your dream, on what you desire to express here while you're physically alive. That is the only thing you're called upon to do. Let go of all the successes of other people. Stop focusing and obsessing so much on how things are and how things are for other people. Stop focusing so much on that and start learning to see your life as a beautiful play. And you're going to be the director of that play. You're going to decide for yourself What am I going to do today with the time that I have? And the more you learn to wake up in that manner, the more your life turns into a meaningful journey. This is the trick. Instead of waking up and then being like, I haven't achieved what I want, I haven't gotten what I want yet, I don't see the money yet, I don't see the success yet, all these things that will cause frustration sooner or later, you want to start asking yourself a different question. What could I do today with the time I have in order to express more of what I desire, of what I dream about having, of doing in this world? And the more you learn to take action on it, the more it starts being expressed in your lifetime. And that is when life, again, itself becomes like a play. It becomes the most beautiful, meaningful play to the soul, because you're doing what you are meant to do. Now, if we bring all of this back, there were so many times in my life where I was so obsessed with achieving certain goals that I forgot to enjoy the journey. Then I would feel frustrated and stressed out. I understood that I was perhaps pushing people away, friends away temporarily, because I felt like since they weren't going for their dreams, they weren't worth my time. This is a very harsh attitude to have towards anyone I know. And now I'm not having that attitude any longer. These days I tell them how they can do what they would like to do. They tell me about their dreams and I tell them how to go and get it. And then they do it and then they become more happier at the same time as well. I become happier doing what I love to do. They become happier doing what they love to do. And you see why that is? Because I simply changed my focus. I unconsciously actually started looking at life as a play. The way I would describe looking at it is, what am I leaving behind to this world? Am I passionate about something? If so, yes. Then I'm going to leave something behind to this world. I'm going to act on the very things I'm passionate about and create things that involve that passion. And then as I create it, I automatically have something in my hands that I can share. Once you create, you can share. You can start giving to the world. Then as you keep giving to the world, that will become your legacy. That will become the very thing that people will be able to remember you by. And then it's like you, Emerson would say, it's like you become immortal physically. So it's not literally being immortal in the body, but your work lives on far beyond your physical existence. And then your work makes you immortal in a way, because people can still listen to you, read about you, hear about you, and perhaps benefit from what you have shared, because you dared to listen to your heart and act on your dreams and understand that since life was temporary, I might as well make the best of it and see it as a play, a temporary activity, a temporary physical journey through which I am going to expand and fully express what I desire to do with it, and not what other people are telling me to do with it, because that is the fallacy of mankind. That is why so many people are frustrated and stay stuck, because they're trying to do something that other people tell them they should be doing, but they don't like doing it, and then they try to force themselves to do it. And no wonder life doesn't feel like a play, but like a struggle. It feels stressful, it feels hopeless, and sooner or later you reach a point that you want to give up. And we don't want to give up. We want to keep going. We want to keep succeeding. And in order to do so, we have to listen to our hearts. Well, Alan Watts sure was an interesting fellow. He had a lot of deep subjects about the ego, about life, about the struggles of humanity that can really make us think. And because of that, I think it would be a great addition to this channel to also share more about his material, either with my current audience or for new people that might stumble upon this channel. Regardless, I hope this made you think a little bit more about your own potential in life, because ultimately, as we said, life is meant to be a fun journey. It's not meant to be a struggle at all, man. It's meant to be fun. Remember this. Is your journey currently a fun one? If not, ask yourself why. See if you can change it around, because you probably can, but first you have to change your mind about it. You have to change your mindset so that you feel more optimistic about your own potential, because it's all here. You know where it is? It's all inside of you. You have the power to change your life around, and even though that's hard, it's not always easy. If you keep reminding yourself of that, you'll figure out how to actually express your soul's greatest desire. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing, it doesn't have to be what anybody else is doing. Your soul will inspire you to do whatsoever you want to do, and how to go about it, and then you're living how you were meant to live. Like a unique individual expression of the spirit of life. And that is where the real joy of living comes in. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.